Hello everyone, we are from Group 5. My name is Calvina Gaya, and today I will be presenting alongside with my group mates, Akila Fayola, Nadia Primarani, Putri Ivana, Jonathan Chandra, Kianka Azura, and Giska Maidina. Today we will be presenting chapter 5.1, which is about MIS infrastructures. This is the table of contents. You can just read it or screenshot it. So I will be explaining to you guys about MIS infrastructure. MIS infrastructure is the foundation supporting all of the systems that enable business growth, operations, and profits. It is used by every organization, regardless of its scale or size, whether it's a few network personal computer sharing an Excel file or a massive multinational corporation with thousands of employees connecting around the world. And MIS infrastructure is dynamic because it continually changes as the business needs change. So these are the business benefits of a solid MIS infrastructures. MIS infrastructure supports the volume and complexity of today's user and application requirements. It also protects systems from failures and crashes and includes the plans for how a firm will build, deploy, use, and share its data. And lastly, it also reduces costs, improves productivity, optimizes business operations, generates growth, and increases profitability. So this is the MIS infrastructure. The first one is information MIS infrastructure, which supports operations. This includes backup, recovery, disaster, and business continuity planning. The second one is agile MIS infrastructure, which supports change. This includes accessibility, availability, maintainability, portability, reliability, scalability, and usability. And lastly, the third one is sustainable MIS infrastructure, which supports sustainability. This includes grid computing, cloud computing, virtualization. However, my group will only be presenting information and agile MIS infrastructure. Sustainable MIS infrastructure will be explained more by the next group, which is group 6. So the first one is supporting operations, and I will be explaining in the next slide. So supporting operations identifies where and how important information is maintained and secure. It also supports day-to-day business operations and plans for emergencies such as power outages, floods, earthquakes, malicious attacks via the internet, theft, and security breaches. To support continuous business operations, an information infrastructure provides 3 primary elements, which are backup and recovery plan, disaster recovery plan, and business continuity plan. So backup and recovery plan, because businesses lose time and money every year as a result of system crashes and failures, having a backup and recovery strategy in place is one way to reduce the damage of a system crash. So backup provides an exact copy of a system's information, and recovery is the ability to get a system up and running in the event of a system crash or failure that includes restoring the information back up. And companies should choose a backup and recovery strategy in line with their goals and operation needs. So companies that need large volumes of critical information backup are recommended to do daily or hourly backups to storage servers. And small amounts of non-critical information are recommended to do weekly backups to hard drives since they're not that important.
So now I'm going to explain about disaster recovery plan. What is disaster recovery plan? It is a detailed process for recovering information or an IT system in the event of a catastrophic disaster such as fire or flood. Disaster can have the following effects on companies and their business operation. So the first one is disrupting communications. Most companies depend on voice and data communications for daily operational needs. Widespread communications outage from either direct damage to the infrastructure or sudden spikes in usage related to an outside disaster, can be as devastating to some firms as shutting down the whole business. The second one is damaging physical infrastructures. So, fire and flood can directly damage buildings, equipment, and systems, making structures unsafe and systems unusable. Law enforcement officers and firefighters may prohibit business professionals from entering a building, thereby restricting access to retrieve documents or equipment. The third one is halting transportation. Disasters such as floods and hurricanes can have a deep effect on transportation. Disruption to major highways, roads, bridges, railroads, and airports can prevent business professionals from reporting to work or going home, slow the delivery of supplies, and stop the shipment of products. The last one is blocking utilities. So, public utilities such as the supply of electric power, water, and natural gas can be interrupted for hours or days, even in incidents that cause no direct damage to the physical infrastructure. Buildings are often uninhabitable and systems unable to function without public utilities. Resources that support disaster recovery. The first one is hot site. It is a separate and fully equipped facility where the company can move immediately after a disaster and resume the business. Cold site is a separate facility that does not have any computer equipment, but is a place where employees can move after a disaster. The last one is warm site. It is a separate facility with computer equipment that requires installation and configuration. So this is the disaster recovery cost curve. This brown curve is chart one. It is the cost to your organization of the unavailability of information and technology. So it is faster in recovery but cuts down cost from unavailability. The blue curve is chart two. It is the cost to your organization to recover from a disaster. So it is faster in recovery but net resources and cost.
Next is Business Continuity Plan or BCP. Business Continuity Plan or BCP is a comprehensive and all-encompassing emergency preparedness plan which details how a company recovers and restores critical business operations and systems after a disaster or extended disruption. Emergency preparedness ensures that a company is ready to respond to an emergency situation in an organized, timely, and effective manner. The emergency situation can be natural disaster, and terrorist or even hacker attacks are on the minds of business professionals. Other than disaster recovery plan, which more focus on system and data, BCP focus on how to recovers and restores critical business operations and system after that emergency situation. BCP contains disaster recovery plans along with many additional plans. There are three additional plans. The first one is business impact analysis. It identifies all critical business functions and the effect that a specific disaster may have on them. It used to ensure that a company has made the right decision about the order of recovery priorities and strategies. For example, should the accounting department have its system up and running before the sales and marketing departments? Or will email be the first platform to contact the employees and stakeholders? And second is emergency notification services. It typically includes an emergency notification service that is an infrastructure built for notifying people in the event of an emergency. A firm will implement an emergency notification service to warn employees of unexpected events and provide them with instruction about how to handle the situation. The notification can be from email, cell phone, or even text message. And the last one is technology recovery strategies. It focuses specifically on prioritizing the order for restoring hardware, software, and data across the organization that best meets business recovery requirements. A technology failure occurs when the ability of a company to operate is impaired because of hardware, software, and the data outage. A technology recovery strategies details the order of importance for recovery hardware, software, data centers, and networking. Business continuity also have strategies. There are basically six strategies. The first one is evacuate existing building and relocate to a prearranged alternate work area. It assumes the alternate site is ready for occupancy or can be made ready quickly. For example, it ensures that transportation is available. Second, work from home. It ensures that the staff have broadband and internet access at home. For example, the office or the business accommodate internet access to the employee. The third is move selected staff to a hot site. It assumes a hot site program is in place and that space is available at the site for staff. Fourth is move alternate staff into leadership roles in the absence of key leaders. It ensures that they have been cross trained. Succession planning is a key strategy in business continuity. It ensures that loss of a senior manager or someone with special expertise can be replaced with minimal disruption to the business. The fifth one is move staff into local or nearby hotels and set up temporary workspace. Make sure this kind of arrangement is set up with hotels in advance, especially in case of incident that disrupt many other business in the same area. And the last one is relocate staff to another company office. Organizations with multiple offices that have access to the company network as well as workspace can be leveraged to temporarily house employees.
So now I'll be talking about the next subtopic that is supporting change, agile MIS infrastructure. Agile MIS infrastructure includes the hardware, software, and telecommunications equipment that, when combined, provides the underlying foundation to support the organization's goal. The system itself must be scalable, such that if an organization demand for resources grow by a percentage, the existing infrastructure must be able to handle the percentage growth without having any adverse effect on the functionality of the company's operation. For example, if a company grows by 50% in a single year, its infrastructure and system must be able to handle a 50% growth rate. If they cannot, if they can severely hinder the company's ability not to grow, but also to function. So, moreover, the customers that at first wanted your product will eventually turn away into another company that is more capable of handling this growth, although it was originally might be your idea. This could be fatal towards your company, and it is why these matters should be taken into account seriously. In the diagram, we can see the different characteristics of an agile MIS infrastructure that can ensure that a system meet and perform under any unexpected or unplanned changes. So now I'll be talking about the first characteristics, which is accessibility. Accessibility refers to the varying levels that define what a user can access, view, or perform when operating a system. The operation of a system must be easily accessible at any time without restriction by all users of the system, according to their authorization or access level. For example, students and administrator both can access a MAS or SIAC-NG. However, students wouldn't be able to perform things like grading, posting assignments, managing passwords, or and etc. Another example is the WAI, or also called Web Accessibility Initiative, which is an initiative to enable people with disabilities to access the web fully. For example, Apple includes screen magnification and voiceover on its iPhone, iPad, and iPod, which allows the blind and visually impaired to use the device.
Availability. In an active business environment, business professionals need to use their system whenever and wherever they want. Availability refers to the time frames when the system is operational. A system is called unavailable when it is not operating and cannot be used. High availability occurs when a system is continuously operational at all time. Availability is typically measured relative to 100% operational or never failing. Sometimes a system must be taken down for maintenance, upgrades, and fixes, which are completely during downtime. One challenge with availability is determining when to schedule system downtime if the system is expected to operate continuously. For example, performing maintenance during the evening might seem like a great idea, but evening in one city is morning somewhere else. And as we all know, business professionals are scattered around the globe. They may not able to perform a specific job function if the system they need are unavailable. This is where companies deploy failover systems so they can take the primary system down for maintenance and active the secondary system to ensure continuous operation. Maintainability. Companies must watch today's needs as well as tomorrow's when designing and building system. They have to make sure that the system is flexible enough to meet all types companies changes, environmental changes and business changes. Maintainability or flexibility refers to how quickly a system can transform to support environmental changes. It also helps to measure how quickly and effectively a system can be changed or repaired after failure. For example, when building a system for your business, you might not design them to handle multiple currencies and different languages, which might make sense if the company is not currently performing international business. Unfortunately, when the first international order arrives, which happen easily with e-business, the system will unable to handle the requests because it does not have the flexibility to be easily reconfigured for a new language or currency. When the company does start growing and operating overseas, the system will need to be redeveloped and needed some upgrade, which is not an easy or cheap task. Building and developing flexible system allows easy updates, changes, and reconfiguration for unexpected business or environmental changes.
Next, we have portability. So, portability refers to the ability of an application to operate on different devices or software platforms, such as different operating systems. For example, if we have Netflix, the application, um, we can run it or access it on any devices that we have, such as PC, mobile phone, laptop, or maybe your own TV. And the next is reliability. So, reliability or accuracy is the ability of a system to function correctly and accurately to provide reliable informations to the users. It ensures that a system is functioning correctly and providing accurate information.
Okay, so now I'm going to talk about scalability. Scalability is how well a system can scale up or adapt to the increased demand of growth, anticipating expected and unexpected. Growth is key to building scalable systems that can support the development. The key components of scalability are performance and capacity. Performance measures how quickly a system performs a process or transaction. Performance is a key component of scalability as systems that can't scale suffer from performance issues. Capacity represents the maximum throughput output a system can deliver. For example, the capacity of a hard drive represents its size per volume. Next is usability. Usability is the degree to which a system is easy to learn and efficient and satisfying to use, providing hints, tips, shortcuts, and instruction for any system, regardless of its ease of use is recommended. Serviceability shows how quickly a third party can change a system to ensure it meets user needs in the terms of any contracts, including agreed levels of reliability, maintainability, or availability.